Today I would like to discuss effective business communication. The purpose of this discussion is to inform you of the components necessary to successfully communicate in a business setting. I believe that effective communication is the key to success in every facet of life. In order to understand effective business communication, we're going to examine why it's important to communicate well, what communication is, the context in which we use communication, and the responsibilities of the communicator. Why is it important to communicate well? Because communication is the key to success in every aspect of life, be it personal relationships, community interactions, or even at work. Being able to express yourself carries over in multiple ways. Communication also influences your thinking about yourself and others. If you can't express yourself, then you can't grow. And your ability to understand yourself, you can then express yourself. And when you understand and are able to express yourself, then you can understand the expressions of others. Communication also influences how you learn. Learning definitely involves communication. Effective communication involves preparation, practice, and persistence. These are all common steps that we use in retaining and applying information that we learn on a daily basis for any concept. Communication is also desired by the employer. Employers seek people who are able to speak and write successfully. Clear speech in business writing ensures that you're able to represent your employer in a detail-oriented and professional manner. Being able to do so alleviates productivity issues, profitability issues, as well as opening up your company to legal issues. Being able to communicate well is also a soft skill sought after by many businesses and industries. And being a successful communicator can lead to success and promotion and also acquiring new positions. Finally, learning to express yourself in speech and writing will help you to solidify those relationships. It helps you to solve problems, and it can help you to advance your career. These are all reasons why it is important to be able to communicate well. So now that we've examined that, let's examine what communication is. Communication is the process of understanding and sharing meaning. Basically, it's the method we use to interpret and apply what we receive and deliver to others through our simple interactions. It's not just verbalizing our thoughts. Communication is composed of 8 components that affect how information is given and received. Those 8 components of communication are source, message, channel, receiver, feedback, environment, context, and interference. The source is the person or thing that creates and sends the message. The message is the meaning produced and intended for a source or receiver. The channel is the method that the sender chooses to send the message. It's how it travels. The receiver is the person who gets, analyzes, and processes the message. Feedback is a response from the receiver. It can be verbal or nonverbal. The environment is the atmosphere in which the message is sent. The context is the scenes, settings, and the expectations of the people involved. And finally, interference is anything that would interact or hinder the message being properly received. Aside from those 8 components of communication, there are also 2 models of communication. They are the transactional and the constructivist method. The transactional model is where the sender and the receiver pass information back and forth, essentially switching roles. What this means is that as I'm talking to you, you're basically sitting there listening, but you're also processing your response to me as we go along. We basically switch roles. And the constructivist method, I tell you what I want you to understand, you tell me what you understand, and we have to be on the same page. Basically, we have to share the same meaning before we move on and switch roles. These are interchangeable. Neither is right or wrong. They're acceptable based on the type of communication or the setting where the communication is taking place. So So that moves us forward to the next topic, which is communication and context. which is essentially the setting for which communication is used. Communication can be used on interpersonal, intrapersonal, group communication, public communication, or mass communication. Intrapersonal is self-speak. It affects how I perceive and react to situations and how I communicate with others. It's influenced by my culture. Interpersonal communication is between two people. It can be casual or intimate. Group communication is between 3 to 8 people because too many people can break down the communication into smaller groups and cause the meaning not to be taken. Public communication is with one person addressing a group. There is feedback, but typically it's nonverbal. And finally, there's mass communication. It is where one person sends a message to an entire group of people. It's general and it doesn't go to any specific demographic. Finally, let's examine our responsibilities as a communicator. The responsibility of a communicator is to be prepared and to be ethical. Being prepared means being organized, clear, concise, and punctual. Ethics are rules for proper conduct and good character and the reputation for doing the right thing. To be ethical means to be egalitarian, respectful, and trustworthy. Egalitarian means all people share equally in the benefits and the burdens of society. Basically means that everyone's entitled to the same respect, expectations, access to info, and rewards. Basically, a responsible communicator adheres to the golden rule. They treat others the way that they want to be treated. So as you can see, that a responsible communicator is an effective communicator. They're able to communicate well, they know what communication is, and they're able to communicate in multiple settings. I hope today that my speech is able to help you become an effective communicator. Thank you for listening.